Okay, today we are playing a game on Blizzard World. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Moira the entire way through. Our current team composition is Orisa, D.Va, Mei, Hanzo, Mercy, and Moira. So no Zenyatta, how sad. No Zarya, how sad. Orisa D.Va is a little bit awkward as a combo of tanks, just because there isn't much in the way of synergy between those two tanks. They want to do two quite different things. Orisa is quite sedentary. She'd like to just sit in one place and shoot at people who are some distance away. She doesn't really like fighting people close up as much as possible. And D.Va, however, is all about, like, diving in and trying to actually kill people. Also, D.Va's usually, like, contesting high ground, and Orisa doesn't really contest high ground super well. It's just kind of awkward. If they have a Pharah, we will be quite sad about that. The only thing we've really got is D.Va and Hanzo. It's not the best, but, I mean, you know, they can do something. Oh, Moira as well can kind of fight Pharah. Anyway, so, let's start the game. It's not a super long game. We got some questions in the email, but they kind of make more sense to talk about as the game's going on, or, like, maybe at the end. Anyway. So we're standing over here on the right-hand side. This is usually the best thing to do on Blizzard World, because the high ground is a trap, usually. Look at that! They've got a Hammond on the other team. I think that's the first time Hammond's actually shown up in a video since he was released. He's not very good. He's not a very good hero. He is countered by a lot of heroes, and doesn't really do anything fantastic. He's pretty good at stalling, because he can get somewhere real fast, and, like, Hammond spinning around the objective over and over again is, like, pretty obnoxious, but he's kind of just, like, a worse version of a lot of tanks, which is a shame, because Hammond's really cool. He's really fun to play. I love his design. I think he's a great hero, but he's not very good, unfortunately. If you want a dive tank, Winston and D.Va are better. If you want, like, a zoning tank, then you, like, Reinhardt, Orisa, and Roadhog are all better at that. So, it's just anything he could do, it's, like, kind of like other heroes just do it better than him. It's unfortunate. He does not appear to be very good. It's possible that we don't have big enough brains to just comprehend Hammond yet, but I have yet to see a single Hammond where I was like, that Hammond carried the game. It just doesn't really happen, you know. At least I haven't seen it happen yet. He has got a high skill floor, to be fair. We might catch on eventually, but it doesn't look like he's very good. At this rate, he's going to get, like, the Sombra stigma stuck on him at this rate. It's going to be hard to shake off for them. Orisa had that for a really long time as well, you know. He's gonna end up being like that way soon. So Mei was up on the trap high ground, so she ended up dying. That's unfortunate for her. Someone's behind us right now. It seemed like it probably was Genji, based on how we took our damage, but it doesn't matter because Hanzo just killed the entire rest of their team over there, so good job Hanzo. We didn't really have to worry about it. So we've got Coalescence built up. That's cool. One of the questions in the email is, like, do I keep wasting Coalescence? It just feels like I build it really quickly. Yeah, Coalescence is that way. Like, it charges really quickly, so you do want to use it as often as possible. It's not unreasonable to assume that a Moira is going to use Coalescence every team fight. Like, it is. She builds ult so fast. So, Genji's trying to kill us again. Not super scared of Genji, really. Moira's got, like, a lot of ways to avoid dying to Genji, basically. So, the idea with Coalescence is to try and hit as many people on both teams as possible with it. Not that our team's in, like, a great angle to try and do this from. Mei tried to wall herself off and died anyway. How sad. Yeah. And it's fair enough to use it, it's just unfortunately we don't get, like, a lot of value out of it, just because of, like, the way our team is positioned. I don't know what Soldier was planning with this one. I guess he's just like, oh, self-destruct's over there, so, like, I'm just gonna, like, suicide on try and kill this bongo at the same time, like. It was a bold strategy, certainly. So I'm mostly going back to see what, like, almost killed us. It was Genji. Yeah, so Moira doesn't need to be super close to people to damage them, because her right click range is 20 meters? Moira, stats. It's either 15 or 20, but I feel like her right click is 20. And then the heal is 15. It is, yes, it is 21 meters. That is Roadhog's hook range for comparison. So you don't need to be real close to people to do damage to them. Quite often people would rather that you come closer to them. So also with the healing orb, we're using our healing orb right now to heal ourselves, which is fair enough because we've just almost died. But the way we throw it is not very helpful to heal us, because we've thrown it where we can't go, because that's where the enemy team is. We want it to hover around our team as much as possible, just in general, but like predominantly we want to use it to heal ourselves right now. So quick maths, just like bounce it off this wall, because then we can follow it, and then it'll still come back through our team again after it bounces off the wall. But we will actually get to like fully heal off of it as well, which is like the main reason we're using it right now. Whereas if we throw it that way, we don't exactly get a lot of healing off of it. The enemy team are like losing this fight anyway, so it doesn't really end up like mattering hugely. But if you're using it to heal yourself, you do want to like get up to full health off of the orb. You do still want it to hang around your team, yeah. It would hang around the team slightly longer doing it that way as well, because it would like do 2 laps through our team basically from where we threw it, because it would go off from us, off the wall, back through the team again. Whereas if we throw it off to just the Snacks Rammus straight away, it's gone. It's probably not coming back again after that point. So Reinhardt's gonna like getting pretty bullied right now. We've got Coalescence built up. Did we see Genji prior to this? Because he did just sort of come out of nowhere right there. Hold on. I should probably like listen. Sound is kind of important. So someone's contesting the objective behind us. You know, even more baseline than that. All right, so there's an enemy on the left side of us right now, behind us, because someone was contesting the objective. And it turns out to be Genji. That's not super surprising, really, because we can see most of their team over there, and one person's contesting the objective. It's probably a flanker. We know they have Genji. Turns out it was Genji. When someone's contesting the objective, just like have a gander over and see who it is at the very least. So we ended up going like, wow, the mines get different particles based off your skin, because they don't look like that usually. This is a very obnoxious Hammond skin in general, isn't it? Like, holy shit, what a loud skin this boy's got. Didn't really think about it until I saw his fucking bright red tomato mines, but like, look at this boy. He is so fucking bright. Holy shit. It is like Ronald McDonald threw up into a hamster ball. Good God. So we did go all the way through the minefield right here. I'm not super sure why. I guess to get away from Soldier? Look, lesser of two evils. We're gonna go all the way through the minefield and end up next to Reinhardt, right? Whereas if we just stay over there, yeah, Soldier's there, but we don't have to, like, go through the minefield, and, like, Soldier at least has to actually hit you. Reinhardt, he doesn't have to try super hard to hit you. I'm a thirsty boy. So obviously Cola's gonna help with that one. Just drink some water. Tap is so far away from me. The soda is not very far away from me. So it's obvious that's what it's going to be. So they did capture the first checkpoint. Not the end of the world. You can feasibly win on any of Blizzard World's checkpoints. Did you hear that, by the way, did you hear that the attacking team on Rialto only wins like 43% of the time? Like, that's actually insane how imbalanced that map is, if that's the case. Like, that's actually, like, ridiculous. For one side of the map to win 7% more than the other side of the map. It was slightly more than 7%. It was, like, 42.88% of the time, or something like that, the attacking team wins on Rialto. That's insane. It is a very hard map to attack, because every objective has got, like, something ridiculous on it that's to try and push through. Like, the first one is, like, there's a really fucking long choke point with the death bridge right outside your spawn. Then you take a hard right into the choke point, into more choke point. And then there's the giant fucking open courtyard. Second checkpoint then has got the bridge to push across, which is hard. And then it goes through another choke point. And then you have to push it all the way down the next street, which is, like, really close to the defender's spawn. Like, Reinhardt can charge out of the second defender's spawn and, like, be there at the end of the track at that point for the second checkpoint. Like, so that's obnoxious. And then the third checkpoint has got, like, a Dorado-esque bridge on it, and then the gate choke point as well. So it's got, like, the Dorado and the Hanamura on it at the same time. Not nearly as bad as Hanamura, but, you know, it's the only other gate we've got for comparison. All three checkpoints have, like, at least one really obnoxious thing about it that makes it hard to push through. It's like, it's not surprising. Like 43% though. Like, that's so bad. Like, that map needs some, like, drastic alterations to it to, like, even out that kind of business. Like, what do you even do though to Dorado, right? You know, what to Dorado? We don't need to do anything to Dorado. What do you do to Rialto to fix it, really? Because, like, it would need to be a pretty dire change, right? Because, like, the first checkpoint, the thing that's really bad about it is, like, the really long gauntlet of death through the alleyway. Like, what do you do? Just, like, delete a building? Like, you know, what do you do? And then the second one's, like, the bridge. What do you do? Do you cement in the river? Like, what do you do? Well, the second checkpoint wouldn't be so bad, because you just need to put, like, another way for the attacking team to get around. So if you put, like, another door inside the building that, like, goes through, then that would help with that one already. But, like, the geography of that map doesn't make it super convenient to make, like, alterations to it. So we're playing Moira on Blizzard World right now, by the way. I just thought that, like, that was crazy. That, like, a 7% discrepancy on one side winning on a map is, like, actually crazy. Anyway. So, like, imagine, like, if you just looked at, like, the lower SRs, it must be, like, absolutely abhorrently bad to try and attack that map, because typically defending is easier in the lower ranks and gets harder as you climb, because the attacking team doesn't know how to attack, which usually amounts to them not really accomplishing much. We've all seen the Reinhardt that sits outside the gate on Hanamura, too afraid to hold down the W key. So then you take my overall, like, a 7% discrepancy, and, like, just look at, like, the lower SRs. God, it must be, like, awful. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, like, 35% if you looked at, like, just bronze or something. Anyway, so we're playing Moira on Blizzard World right now. So we're really far up right now. We don't want to be this far up. This is, you know, we're starting to push in on their spawn right there. So we throw the healing orb away from us again, but this time also our team's being attacked by Dragonblade, so that's fair enough. Unfortunately, we end up getting killed by him in the end. Like, this is one of those things that's meant to kill you, so it's not, like, super surprising that we've died to it. Coming back up again is, like, quite risky, given that Genji's still up here in the area. We've thrown our healing orb up. Like, we don't need to keep walking forward, like, beyond this point. Really, because, like, your heal has a 15-meter range, which is the same range as Mercy. Like, that's quite far. So we don't need to be that close to them still. Could be further back still. But, like, realistically, we die regardless in that position, because it's one of those things that is meant to kill you. You know, like, if the Nano Blade comes at you, or the Dragon Blade in general comes at you, you know, The response to that is, like, have a Zenyatta's Transcendence ready to go, basically. The email does also say that somebody asked us partway through this game to change to Zenyatta, which is, like, fair enough, especially given, like, the team they have. Because they have, they had Soldier Genji, and now they have Genji Pharah. So that's 2 ultimates to, like, cancel with, Transcendence, that's the one. And, you know, the minefield as well. If you take that advice off of Reddit, please don't use Transcendence to clear Hammond's minefield, because it's not that scary. There was a fucking another one. This one upset me more, honestly. It was, I didn't even click on it, but just, like, the title of the thread was, Hammond's mines have 50 hit points, and Earthshatter does 50 damage. Please, for the love of God, do not use Earthshatter to clear Hammond's minefield. You know what you could do instead? You could left-click the mines, because the swing does 75 damage. You could Fire Strike through it, because that does 100 damage. You could just, like, not go in the minefield. Using Earthshatter to clear the minefield is a little bit overkill. Just like using Transcendence to clear the minefield. Please do not do that. It's not that scary as an ultimate. It's, like, best used as, like, a combo ultimate, honestly, because, like, for something to actually zone the enemy team, it needs to be threatening. The minefield kind of isn't, because the mines tend to just die ambiently without even really trying that hard. That would be, like, a good way to buff Hammond. Just give the mines, like, 25 more health. And maybe make them arm, like, half a second faster. You know? Make his ult worth something, because it kind of is, like, worthless, really. Given that you'll usually use it during a team fight, and that's when other people are using their ultimates. A lot of ultimates will just kind of, like, clear them out without really trying. Because you might use Transcendence to do other things and, like, clear the minefield regardless. If Moira's using Coalescence, she's gonna break the mines, you know? If D.Va uses Self-Destruct, she's gonna clear the mines. Or, we're playing Moira on Blizzard World right now. Jesus Christ. How long we been here already? Oh, I've been recording for like 20 minutes, but I gotta cut out like 5 minutes. So, like, we've done 5 minutes of the game. This is equated to like 15 minutes of video. Oh, it's a good day. It's a good day today. So we're using Coalescence right now. I would probably not, just because it already looks like we've lost this team fight by this point, because, like, everybody's so scattered. Bad things, like, Winston over there is almost dead. May just died. We can see D.Va's gonna lose her mech. Winston doesn't look like he's super long for this world. Like, I would probably just hold it because it looks like we're gonna lose the team fight regardless. But the other thing is, we just kind of don't need to go the way we're going right now if we're going to use it anyway. Because we're using it mostly right now to keep people alive. We're not so much concerned with doing damage with it, which is fine. Sometimes you use Coalescence just to do damage, and sometimes you use it just to heal. Ideally, it's doing both, but sometimes you use it just to do one or the other. We don't need to go this far out to heal Winston. Like, we can see him perfectly fine over here. And because of, like, we know where the enemy team is, right? We know the enemy team's over there. So, like, if we just, like, hug this wall... That's the wrong one. That's the highlighter, not the actual pen. We know their team is over here. If we just, like, hug this wall, we'll still be able to heal Winston from over here. But the enemy team also can't see us, because there's a wall in the way. Whereas we trek this way, and there's, like, a long distance between cover in all directions at that point. Just important to bear in mind in general is, like, if am I near anything I can use as cover right now, be that a shield or just a wall, you know, you always want to be near something you can use. Also, Moira is, this is an important thing to bear in mind. We're playing a bit of, we're playing some Zenyatta. I lied to you. I forgot we played some Zenyatta, to be perfectly honest with you. Important thing to bear in mind with Moira, which is a little counterintuitive initially. This was something I had to learn. you are actually most vulnerable when using Coalescence, counterintuitively enough, because that's the point where you have, like, the least ways of defending yourself. Yeah, you're moving faster, and yeah, you've got the regen on you, but, like, honestly, most of the times I've died as Moira is while using Coalescence, because when you're not using Coalescence, you got Fade, you got the Orb, you got, you know, that's a lot of things already to keep you alive at that point, and then you got, like, the drain off your right-click as well still. If you're draining somebody and the orb is bouncing around you, you're healing 77 health per second? No, that's not right. It's 100 and something. It's because it's 75 per second off the healing orb and then 33. So math. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm not doing the math. I know it's simple math. I'm not doing it. So you're regenerating a lot of health, and then you've got Fade as well. And when you're just using Coalescence, Moira, how much is the self-regen from the Coalescence? I think that's just 50. But let's just check. Yes, 50 health per second. So that's half. Half as much as when you're actually like 50 per second isn't that much. Like, it sounds like a lot. It isn't actually, because that's just, like, Mercy tethered to you. And yeah, you're faster, but, like, yeah, it's actually when you're most vulnerable when using Coalescence. Now, conveniently, though, Coalescence has a fucking 30-meter range on it, which is insanely huge. So you can just be over in the next fucking state, like, and using Coalescence over there. And there isn't very much the enemy team can do about it at that point, because you're so fucking far away. So, but, just important to bear in mind, you're actually most vulnerable while using Coalescence. So, going up here is kind of scary, because there's a lot of ways the enemy team can get on you while you're going up onto this high ground area right here. We could have just, like, stayed further back. Like, just coming up here is, like, scary unless your team's with you, because there's just a lot of ways for the enemy team to get onto you. If you want to go up there, go up the staircase, like, behind us in the gate. Just go up the staircase there and, like, get up on this bridge right here. Because going up this way, like, this is super far away from your team and, like, your side of the map in general. And it's, like, real close to, like, a lot of ways the enemy team can get onto you. Whereas if you just go up through the staircase behind us, you're just, like, up here. And, like, this is where you want to be anyway, because this is the area that, like, has the biggest, like, line of sight in all directions. And you can just, like, back up and drop down onto your team if you need help. Oh, look, yeah, it's like over here. Goes up and over like so. And then you can be up on the bridge like that, which is way less scary. So, you know, now we're playing Moira again, which is fair enough. I wouldn't want to play Zenyatta against that team. I don't really like to play Zenyatta in general, though, so perhaps I'm not the best one to talk about that, but they've got, like, a lot of DPS heroes, because they got McCree as well, and then Hamster Ball. So it's kind of a scary team to play Zenyatta against. So, we lost the second checkpoint. That's sad. And this is, like, the easiest point to attack, like, I find, weirdly enough. Might just be because the defending team is tilted if they get this far, usually, you know. That's just how Overwatch is. So, I'm not in with throwing the healing orb in right there. Because, like, Winston gets kind of low. He, like, immediately pops Primal Rage right as we throw it as well, which is unfortunate. But, like, he didn't look like he was really gonna die from that position regardless. He was, like, half health. Yeah, but, like, I wasn't really concerned he was gonna die, and the healing orb didn't end up doing much right there. Now it's fair enough to use it because there's, like, a fight happening over there that we can't immediately get to. So, like, it heals us, and then it goes over there and heals with the other part of the fight. Now that we're between battles, like, now that we're between fights, I don't want to use the healing orb anymore, because now we can just, like, heal these people up. No fighting is currently happening. And then we can just, like, throw a damage orb over there to build up a little bit more ult charge. We got our ult now regardless coming in, so it's fine. So we just pop our ult immediately right there, and like, oh look, basically we use it to clear the minefield. So I know Hammond was like coming in and used his ult and everything, but like the enemy team, they aren't finished regrouping yet. Like we can't even like they aren't even coming out the door yet, right? Like they're all respawning at this point, but like they're not out of the door yet. Like Hammond doing this, he's like way too far ahead of his team, so he's gonna die, and then like they're in no position to follow up on him. So using Coalescence right there ended up not really accomplishing anything. We could have just held on to it, and then we'd have it during their last push, rather than using it right there to kill Hammond, who was gonna stagger himself regardless. So Far just started doing that, very scary, but we're playing Moira. Oh no, now Deadeye's happening as well. But it's alright, he got killed by May. And now Blizzard's in the middle of the doorway, so they aren't going to be getting in too fast right there. Oh, excuse me. Who would have guessed you drink like half a can of Pepsi and then suddenly you're a little gassy? How strange that is. So yeah, they never really get a good push going right there. We had a lot of ultimates to fight them off. We didn't even use all of our ultimates. We still had ultimates left. So now we have to attack. And you'll notice the attacking segment of the video is a lot shorter than the defending segment of the video. So do we wreck them, or do we get full held? Because those are your options, really. I do have my own PC. Good for you. Can it play games? I'm just on a weekend vacay. Yes. So now we've got to attack again. So we've got like 2 dive tanks right now. May and McCree. What an awkward team. So we got Anna Moira. Alright, you know. No Zenyatta, still sad. We got 2 dive tanks, and then 2 of the slowest motherfuckers in the game as the DPS follow-up. So you know, it's not super good. It's not very good right there. So we throw a healing orb like really early right there. So this is like my thing with the healing orb, is that I want to use at least most of the healing orb when I throw it. And like, if I'm throwing the damage orb, I want to get like all of the damage orb, which is very easy to do. It's quite hard to get all of the healing orb out of it. Just because like getting 300 health out of it is quite hard unless your entire team is like really tight together and getting fucked up. Like throwing it right here, it's gonna heal 20 health on us, and then like some chip damage maybe as it floats through our team. So it just ends up not really doing much of anything, right? Whereas we could have just thrown a damage orb through there and that'd be good. So here we are like way overkill on using our resource as well, because the goal with playing Moira is really to let the regen do as much as possible, because you just sprinkle them for half a second and then they get the 50 health regen on them. 50 health over 3 seconds, which is not a lot, certainly, but it'll heal up like poke damage. The goal is to like let that do as much as possible, and then oh, the geometry on the healing orb kind of worked out because it like bounced back and forth over those rocks there. That's cool. I'd be surprised if it was thought that far and ahead, but if it was, hey, good job, you're a fucking math wizard. But the goal is to let like the healing orb, the regen, do as much as possible, so that you don't have to actually like spend that much of your resource. Because now we're already down to half, and like we haven't started a fight yet, right? Like no fighting has actually really happened yet. So we threw the healing orb right there. That's not really gonna do much, because the way we've thrown it, it's going to go really far away from our team. And it's going to probably hit the incline. Because we threw it like... Yeah, that's definitely going to hit the incline. So like, it's going to go all the way away from our team. It's going to hit this, and then it's going to start going up at that point. At which point, it's basically fucked. Like, you don't want to ever throw the orb up or down, because as soon as like one of the orbs starts going up, that's it. It's over. It's not doing anything again. This is why also like... Ana players get fucked over playing Moira suddenly, because their gut reaction is throw grenade at feet to save self. If you throw orb at feet, it just immediately goes right back up again, and then that's it. It does nothing. The goal is to have it bounce around your team as much as possible. So rather than throwing it just like over there, just like bouncing it off this wall, because then You know, the thing is, this map isn't very symmetrical, so it's hard to get it bouncing around much in general, but it'll at least do 2 passes again, right? Because if it goes over here, it's going to be healing us the whole time it's going over there, then it's going to bounce off the wall, go back through us again, and then at that point, it's up to the whims of the physics engine on which way it's going to go after that. But it'll at least do 2 passes through our team. Throwing it this way, it is unlikely to do 2 passes from our team, through our team. Especially if it hits the incline and immediately starts going up right afterwards. And yeah, it did not. Oh, look, there it goes. Up and away, up and away. It's alright. There, Reinhardt decided to kill himself, which is very obliging of him, certainly. And now, Soldier's dead, Hammond's dead. They all dead. Easy peasy. Easy clap. And then Zenyatta, quite staggered. There, Reinhardt's just thrown himself off the map. Somehow, I guess he was almost back and then went, fuck, guess we lost, and then just, like, threw himself off again. No, he can throw himself off over there as well. That must be what happened, because he couldn't have gotten all the way back over here that quickly. So, now I've almost got Coalescence built up. That's cool. This is a good checkpoint to have it on, because there's quite a narrow funnel that most of the team usually ends up getting bunched up in. Oh, there Reinhardt's just feeding at this point, or, you know, throwing and suiciding off the map over and over again. He's not feeding, seeing as, you know, he's killing himself. Both their supports are dead, right there. Nice. I'm just waiting to see if he dies, if he kills himself again. It's taking a while, if he is. Where is he? Where'd he go? Where's that rascal Reinhardt at? Lord only knows. Oh, I heard him. Don't do that. Don't immediately wake the sleeping guy up again. Where it's, like, really easy to do it by accident, don't do that. Like, that just immediately, like, just leave him asleep. Let somebody else try and use one of their abilities on him while he's asleep, or just, like, leave him asleep. Bare minimum, if he's just asleep for 6 seconds, that's 6 seconds he ain't interacting with the game. So, it's fair enough to use Coalescence here. I would have honestly used it sooner. Like, as soon as he started laying the mines out, I would be like, those mines are going to be in an inconvenient location. And I just want to keep our momentum going forward, seeing as we're at the end of the track. Stalling out at the end of the track right here is really inconvenient. So I would have used it, like, sooner than that, but I mean, a couple seconds difference isn't really the end of the world. A lot of our team ends up dying. You know, can't really do much for her. That's unfortunate right there. That boy, he's, like, fucking behind, he's up on high ground, behind the fucking barrier, as inconvenient to get to as he could possibly be. So, why did we throw our healing orb right here? I thought it might have been because we were low on resource. No, we're fucking full on resource. So I'm not down with throwing the healing orb right here, because they aren't taking that much damage. Diva's currently blue, purple, rather. I'm colorblind, whatever. She's currently purple, so she's not going to be getting any healing. Winston, like, Reaper's dead, right? Like, that's the one that was going to do the most damage to him. We can just, like, heal this guy by left-clicking him, if we have to. Better off just throwing the damage orb over in this direction to try and, like, finish this person off quicker. Because then it's like, you're running after him, the damage orb is hitting them, Winston's also hitting them. It'd be, like, a lot easier to kill him that way. Whereas the healing orb's going to end up not doing very much of anything, seeing as Winston wasn't looking to take much damage, and Diva couldn't be healed at that point in time anyway. So we did capture the checkpoint. We're going to bully Reinhardt a little bit. Just walk up and punch him. He's, like, almost dead. Just go up and punch him. There Ryan throwing. Yeah, pretty sick. It looked like we were probably going to win regardless, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's, you know, once they start throwing as well, it's hard to lose from that position. Was playing a game earlier with a bunch of my friends, and it was on Oasis. It looks like we were going to lose, especially since one of our team left. Someone on their team disconnected as well. And then, right as they were about to win, like second checkpoint, they only needed like 10% to go. Suddenly, they start disconnecting, and then their whole, like, 4-man that was over there just disappears and leaves the one dude behind. And we won that game despite having no right to. Like, we were losing that game real bad, and they just decided, nah, fuck it. Winning's overrated. So Reinhardt just came at us. Where did he come from? Oh, there he is. Okay, I was looking in the wrong location. I thought he came from the right-hand side. It was pretty out of nowhere. I'll lay you off on that one. You would have had to reacted pretty quickly to that one. Yeah, Reaper is, so... Why do we fade like this? Like, that's a scary way to fade, because that just immediately throws you into more of the enemy team doing it that way. I get we don't want to be next to Reinhardt, but, like, there's other ways to go to get away from Reinhardt, right? Just go over here. This is where Diva and Anna are, and we're away from the Reinhardt still, which is the basic goal we were trying to accomplish here. Going over this way also gets us away from Reinhardt, this much is true, but that's where the rest of their team is, and you'll note most of our team is out here at this point. May was in there, but she's fucking dead now. I think Winston's still in there, somewhere. Yeah, Winston's still in there. But this puts us really close to most of their team by ourselves, and like, it gets us away from the Reinhardt. Sure, there were other places we could go to get away from the Reinhardt. Now I'm going to drink coffee as well, because that'll do a lot to make me less dehydrated. So we do have Coalescence built up now. This is another good checkpoint to use it on, because it's a fairly narrow funnel that you end up getting a pretty good angle on, usually. There's Zenyatta's immediately died, which means he can't use Transcendence to stop us pushing in right here. Hammond used the minefield. Might as well. Most of them are dead at this point. Then we got hit by Earth Shatter, but we've already won the game. Hooray! Do we see the play the game? Yeah, we see the play the game. Who would have got it? It has to have been Genji, right? No, it was McCree. What did McCree do? He killed like 4 people as Hanzo on the first checkpoint, didn't he? He could have been there. Ooh. Got there in the end. Alright, fair enough. Wow, enemy's frozen. It's been a long time since I saw that card. God damn. It's been like literally like 7 seasons since I've seen that one. 71% kill participation. Good job, McCree. Good job. So, now, let's go over onto the email, because we had a few questions right there. So, do I use Fade too often? It didn't really feel like it. Fade has a pretty low cooldown. I tend to use it quite frequently. Just think about, like, where you're going. I'm mostly thinking about the one right at the end right there, where we, like, threw ourselves into the enemy team. Moira is really easy to kill when Fade is on cooldown, especially if your orb is also on cooldown, and you want to use the orb as much as possible, usually, so it usually is. So yeah, be careful about where you go. Basically, you don't want to, like, fade into more danger, usually. There's also a very common practice for Moira players is that they will fade to somebody who is low health to try and heal them faster, but something happened to put that dude at low health, and you just faded closer to whatever happened to put him in low health. And then, oh no, now you're right next to him, healing him, sure. But like, oh look, it turns out like 3 of the enemy team were here as well, because they were the ones killing him, and you just faded closer to him. So, just think about where you're going. It didn't feel like we used fade too often, but just think about where you're going with it. The other was, do I keep wasting my ult? I feel like I can build it up really quickly. The only one that I felt like really was a waste was the one where, towards the end of the first the end of the defense, where, we basically just used it on Hammond pushing in alone. That one was wasted, but I didn't really feel like any of the others were a waste. It's a very fast-charging ultimate, so you do want to use it as quickly as possible, because that's the whole benefit of having a fast-charging ultimate. You have to also use it quickly to benefit from the fact that it charges quickly. It's not unreasonable to assume that a Moira is going to ult every team fight, or close to, just because Coalescence does build that quickly. So, especially if you're being, like, really efficient with how you throw your orbs and everything, and, like, doing as much damage as possible while healing. It didn't feel like we were wasting it except for that one time. And the other positioning is too forward aggressive. It was a few times. 21 meter range on the right click, 15 meter range on the heal, 30 meter range on Coalescence. Moira is actually quite long range. I'm thinking, like, when we were walking towards the Genji, during the first checkpoint defense, and then, well, we also, like, didn't notice the Genji was behind us after we were positioning aggressively originally, but then we were, like, walking into the Genji that one time. right towards the end of here, we faded towards them. That was the time when we were using the coalescence on the second checkpoint. We like went out from cover to try and get closer to the Winston to heal him, even though like we got a 30-meter range on coalescence. I'm gonna be really far away. Positioning and when we're using coalescence is probably too aggressive in general. Again, it's a 30-meter range, and it's when you're most vulnerable, counterintuitively enough. It is an ultimate that makes you feel like you're invulnerable, but it is actually the point where you are most likely to die as Moira counterintuitively. So you want to be quite far away as much as possible. Again, a 30-meter range is fucking long. Like, that's a fucking long range right there. That's a hook and a half, right? You can be really far away from the enemy team. So, positioning while using that, definitely, probably too aggressive. Definitely, probably too aggressive. Good English use right there. And right-click, again, 21 meters. You don't need to be that close to people. Most people would like Moira to be closer to them, because Moira doesn't do more damage or anything for being closer, and it's not like it's hard to track, even at long range, with her lock-on. So, you know, try to stay as far away as possible. Oh, there was the one time that, like, Genji was using Dragon Blade, first part of the second checkpoint, like we got really close to them again right after we faded away. So, too forward slash aggressive overall, probably, but not overly so. Like, it's not like we were being suicidal or anything. The most, like, too forward slash aggressively we were positioning was when we were playing Zenyatta for 50 seconds, like, oddly enough. And then those were the only questions. So, no, I don't think so. Just think of, like, in order. No, I don't think you were using Fade too often. Just be careful about where you're going. Didn't feel like you were wasting it too much. You didn't feel like you were wasting your ult. Just, you do want to use it as quickly as possible. And, yeah, just try and stay further away from people. So, thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful. God, that was 45 minutes. Jesus Christ. Good day. Good day.